Yo, welcome. This is the Channel 914 podcast. I am your host, Rael Allen, and this is my first episode ever. So I just want to start by expressing my utmost gratitude to any and everyone that takes the time to view this. There are a million podcasts out there. There's so much content to consume these days. So for anybody that takes the time to view mine, I just want to say thank you, because you don't have to. But if you like it, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, please subscribe. And if you want other people to see it, share it. Appreciate you. So Father's Day, this coming Sunday. And I really wanted to take this time in my first episode, putting it out right before Father's Day, to talk about my personal experience being a father. I really enjoy being a father, man. Like, I truly, honestly dig this shit, man. It's really cool. It's really fun. Brings a lot of joy to my life. I can't imagine my world without my kid in it. It's just, she's so a part of it. And I really like being a dad. That's really the only thing to say. My kid, she makes it easy, though, to be quite honest with you. She's really awesome, man. I've often said that I feel like I hit the kid lottery for real. She's funny, she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's considerate, she's kind, she has a good heart, she's an artist, she's a musician, she plays the cello, she plays the guitar, she wants to learn how to play the drums. She just hasn't even scratched the surface of the person that she can become, man. And I'm just really excited to see her future and just to see what she's gonna become, man. She got talent in spades, man, and she's got a good head on her shoulders to boot. So I'm just really excited to see what life has in store for her. I never had a fear of fatherhood, but I also wasn't one of those people who was like, I can't wait to be a father, right? Like, I didn't see other people with kids and be like, oh, I can't wait till I have me a kid. Like, nah, that wasn't me. I had her when I was 26, which is not like, super young, but not super old either. But at that time, I had zero desire to have a child, like none. Couldn't have been further from my mind at that point in my life, man. I was out here living and, having a good time, in my 20s, man, just out of college a couple of years and just living life. Kids just wasn't on my radar. I never babysat any kids. I never changed any diapers, never fed any bottles. Pretty much my only experience with children at that point was holding a baby. And whenever I would hold a baby, it's just like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this baby? How am I supposed to hold this baby? Can somebody come get this fucking baby? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. I just wasn't one of those like goo guy, like, oh, like, nah, it just wasn't me, man. But when I found out I was going to be a father, I wasn't scared at all. There were some things going on in my life at the time that gave me a little anxiety. Namely, I was broke. I didn't have a job at the time. I had just quit my job to go back to school to try to be an audio engineer. So I had taken my life savings and then, of course, borrowed a little money. And I put all of my resources into moving to Arizona and going back to school. So I had no money at the time, and I also was not in Chicago. So there were some things that provided a little uncertainty there. But in terms of just being a father, I was cool with that. I never had any fear. I never had any doubts. I knew everything was going to be okay in that regard. So when I found out I was going to be a father, for whatever reason, everybody around me, including myself, was just convinced that I was going to have a boy. I don't know why. I don't know what the logic was, but that's what we all thought. So much so that I had picked out a name. The name was going to be Kal-El. For those of you that are comic book nerds, Kal-El is Superman's Kryptonian name. Kal-El is the son of Jor-El. So my full government name is Jor-El. Everybody calls me Rel. So I figured if I have a son, it will only be natural for me to name him Kal-El, right? Thankfully, I did not have a boy. That would have been a fucking disaster. But yeah, but as time went on, I just began to have this feeling, man, like, yo, I think I'm going to have a girl. I can't explain why, what made me feel that way, but I just began to have this feeling, man. I just knew it in my gut, like, I think I'm going to have a girl. As it drew closer to the time where we were going to get the ultrasound to find out the sex of the baby, I was just convinced. Like, you couldn't tell me otherwise. Like, yeah, no, man, I'm having a girl. I don't know how I know, but I know I'm having a girl. So the day before the ultrasound, that morning, I kept hearing the name Nia in my head. And I was just like, I know that name. I know it means something, but I don't know what. I can't remember exactly what it means at the time. So I go on about my day. I get ready to go to class. I go to class. And that night, so in my school, we had like live working recording studios. We had a few of them. So these rooms were available for booking outside of class hours. So the session started at 7, and most people wanted those sessions because obviously it was early and you could still like go home and go to sleep. But me and my friends, like, we always took the late night sessions because they were pretty much always open. They started at 11, they ended at 6 in the morning, so you would be up all night recording. But they were always open, so we just took advantage of it. So this particular night, before the ultrasound, we had a studio session. And during the session, I took a break, right? I go back out to my car, and at this time in my life, I was really heavy into Lenny Kravitz. I still fuck with Lenny, but I was really, really heavy into him at that point in time. And Lenny Kravitz has this song called Little Girl's Eyes. And so I go to my car and, I turn it on. I'm just sitting there chilling. And this song comes on. And then, man, I just hear it, man. I put it on repeat, and I just start listening to it over and over and over again. And while I'm listening to it, that name, Nia, pops into my head again. I'm just hearing it. And I'm just like, man, I know this name. I know it means something, but I just can't remember what it means. So I get out of my car, and I go to the computer lab area in my school before I go back into the studio. And I just Google Nia. And, of course, Nia, one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, means purpose. And at that point, I knew that despite the uncertainty and everything that surrounded me at the time, this assured me that this was all happening for a reason. This child was meant to be here at this time. She had a purpose. Her mom and I were simply vessels for her to be born. She had to be in this world. The next day, we have the ultrasound. I couldn't fly home for it because, well, I was broke and I didn't have a job. But I was on the phone with her mom the entire time. And, she goes in there and they're starting the ultrasound. After a minute or so, I just hear her mom say, "Oh, it's a girl." And I'm just like, and her name is Nia. And that was it, man. That's how she got her name. So her name was, I'll always say, like, I really didn't give her her name. Her name was given to me, and I just passed it on. I still remember the day she was born like it was yesterday. Like, I remember the hospital. I remember going into the room. I remember what the delivery room looked like. It's just etched into my brain. She was born at Northwestern Hospital, and it happened real quick. She was born via C-section, so it's not like we were in there in labor for hours and hours. It was actually kind of like we went in there, like the appointment was set for a certain time, and then like it's like 15 minutes later we got a fucking baby. It was it was crazy. But man, I changed her first diaper, which was also the first diaper that I ever changed in life. I didn't fuck it up. And I remember being in there and everybody's looking at me while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents, her parents, relatives. Like everybody looking at me like, he's going to fuck it up. He's going to fuck it up. He's going to do it right. He's going to fuck up this diaper change. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a really critical moment in my life. But I didn't fuck it up. I didn't put it up on upside down or backwards or inside out or anything like that, man. So the first diaper change went well. Obviously, there were thousands of diaper changes after that. So I got plenty of practice. Her mom wanted to breastfeed, right? But she was having trouble. Any women out there that have gone through the breastfeeding knows that sometimes you can have an issue latching on. So her mom was having that issue. Nia wasn't able to really latch on properly. But if you start breastfeeding, you can't go to the bottle because once you go to the bottle, then you can't go back to breastfeeding. So in order for her to continue trying to breastfeed, I had to feed Nia myself. And no, I did not. It wasn't via the nipple. That's kind of physically impossible, at least to my knowledge. But what they did was they tied a very small tube to my finger, and that tube was attached to a bottle. So that's how she ate, through a tube that was tied to my finger. And I really can't describe that experience and how it felt. All I can say, man, is just I'm really glad I had that experience, man. It was really cool, you know. And for the first couple of days of her life, that's how she ate. As I said previously, she was born via cesarean, C-section. So her mom couldn't even pick her up for a minute. So that night, you know, Nia began to cry, as babies do. And her mom was sleeping, man. And, you know, I didn't want to disturb her because, I mean, well, she had just had a whole fucking baby. So I just imagined that she'd be pretty exhausted, right? So that night, man, I just pushed her around the hospital in her crib and just talked to her. She would fall asleep, and then I'll go back into the room and, you know, try to get a couple of winks myself. And then she would wake back up, and I would take her out again, man. I pretty much ended up walking around the hospital with her the whole night. And I truly feel like the bond that we share started on that day. It was really just a great experience. Just bringing a baby into this world and just watching them grow up, man, it's been kind of crazy. It's a trip, but it's a good one. As time is going on, and now my daughter has gone from a baby to a toddler to a kid, and now she's a young woman. I will say that watching a personality develop has been without a doubt the coolest thing that I've experienced in my life. Every milestone, every stage of development, it comes with its own unique set of challenges and excitement. Watching my kid figure things out for the first time and watching her do it on her own, it's just, man, it just really gives me a joy that's just kind of indescribable. It's just really, really amazing to see, like, just the wheels turning, you know, and them seeing and figuring things out. And then it's like, you'll wake up one day and they're just doing some shit that you've never seen them do, didn't know they knew how to do, but they're doing it like they've been doing it their whole lives. It's really an amazing thing to watch, and how smart kids are and how sometimes we can underestimate the intelligence of, like, babies and toddlers. But man, they're always a lot smarter than we give them credit for, man. I'm telling you. Um, it's also allowed me to experience a different kind of love. Um, Something I feel is unique to fathers and daughters, right? I only have a daughter, so I can only speak to what it's like to raise a little girl. I don't know what it's like to have a son. Um, what I do know is that it's special. Um, Fathers share this bond with their daughters that only those that have experienced it can really understand. I felt it since the first time I laid eyes on her, and it's just been wonderful, man. And I'm just truly blessed to have experienced this in my lifetime, man. I'm really grateful. Um, it's also allowed me to see the power of genetics. She has so many of my traits, man. It's almost like watching myself grow up again. So in that regard, it's also a little fucking weird, right? We have a lot of similar interests, man. Like I said, a lot of the same traits. But because we share so much, so many common traits and interests, my kid has honestly become one of my favorite people to hang out with. We do a lot of stuff together. And it's really just kind of like helped us even further cement a bond that we already had. Watching her grow into the woman that she is becoming, and just seeing her along that way, man, it really is good, man. Fatherhood is definitely something you should try. But it's also taught me some valuable lessons. One of the most important ones is, I feel like, when raising a kid, it's important to remember what it's like to be a kid. As adults, we can be hardened, excuse me, by life, right? It can jade you a little bit. Just, going to work every day, just seeing how the world can be, having to pay bills, and just, the adulthood. I mean, it can harden you up a little bit. And it's very easy to forget what it was like to have a kid, to be a kid, excuse me. The things that mattered and are important to us obviously have changed over the years. So we don't have the same interests, and the things that were important to us as kids, things are different now. But we have a different perspective because we've been on this earth for a while. The kids that we're raising don't have that perspective yet. They haven't lived long enough to see it. So the things that we find are trivial, they don't understand that yet. So what's something that's just like, why are you even that upset over it? To them, it can be the end of the world, especially as teenagers. It's like, oh my God. But it's just something that we have to keep in mind. For me, I try to walk a fine line between like offering my perspective and teaching lessons, but also not minimizing what she's feeling at the time. I'm definitely not always successful at it. Sometimes you have to flat out tell your children that, hey man, you're being ridiculous, right? But knowing when and how to do that can be a challenge. And I've definitely screwed it up on multiple times. Probably will screw it up again. There's no handbook to this, man. All this is different. All kids are different. They have different personalities. The times we're growing up in are different. We're really just all trying to figure this out as we go along and not do permanent damage and traumatize our children along the way. And that's all we're trying to do, man. Just trying to figure it out. My kid is a teenager now, man. It's kind of time for me to start letting her go and figure things out on her own a little bit. Try to explore the world and see what it is without me like holding her hand the entire way. And it's a little scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. As an adult, you understand how truly cruel this world can be. And you want to hide your kids from it. You don't want them to experience all of that. But you can only do so much. To hide your kids from the world is to ultimately do them a disservice. They have to be able to experience things. As the saying goes, man, sometimes you got to burn your hand until the iron is hot. Some things, man, you just got to let them figure out on their own and trust in the foundation that you've laid and help them build upon it. And that's what I'm trying to navigate now. It's a struggle, man. It really is. She's already kind of started to ditch me for her friends a little bit, which is fine. I'm happy that she's begun to find her tribe, right? I just hope that as she gets older and more independent, she still has time to hang out with her pops. Since Ant-Man, me and Nia have seen every Marvel movie together. So it would be kind of weird if that stopped. I don't know how much longer this Marvel run is going to go for. But until then, and just not that, I mean, we do a lot together. But I know as she gets older, that time is going to decrease, and she's going to want to do more and more on her own without her dad by her side. And, I'm trying to prepare myself for it. It's not, I'm not looking forward to it, but to that part of it. But I am really happy to kind of see her stepping out on her own and spreading her wings a little bit. Just don't want her to fly too far away. But it is just watching her become who she is has really been a joy, man. I couldn't ask for a better daughter. She is really just an amazing person, inside and out, and it's a pleasure to know her. It's a pleasure to be her dad, and I just hope that other people and your parents and fathers especially, who I guess we don't always get a lot of the credit, but I don't really think it's about credit or wanting recognition or anything like that. I feel like the only thing that's important is the bond with my child. And the outside world doesn't dictate or hold any weight when it comes to that. I know what we have, and my child knows it, and it's something that we share, and it's not for anyone else. So I don't really buy into all the other narratives and all the other things that go on in regards to fatherhood, Black fathers especially. I know who I am. I know who the fathers around me are, and I see who they are and what they do, and the children that we're all raising. And as far as I can see, we're doing a pretty good job. So keep it up. And speaking of doing a good job raising kids, I can't end a Father's Day episode without talking about my own father. My parents did a really good job raising my brother and I. The older I get, the more and more appreciative I am of how we were raised. My father always told us that we could do anything we set our minds to. But not only did he tell us that, we were able to see him demonstrate it. I can't tell you the amount of projects my father took on not knowing what to do or how to do it. But he would just take time to study it and keep trying it and testing until he would figure it out. It really was something that I've taken with me to this day. I contribute my ability to figure things out directly to him. Even when I started, with the Easily Offended podcast last year and then, starting my own now, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm still learning, to be quite honest with you. But I've come a long way. And it's just me starting it without having ever doing it. Me having the confidence to do that comes from things that my father has taught me and watching him do it and then being able to apply that in my own life. I know I can figure things out, and I attribute that directly to my father. When we were kids, my father, as a side business, he's a builder. So he would build like porches, fences, but mainly we built decks for people. So in the summertime, deck building season. So we're out of school. When my father would go to work, he would come home. If he had a project, we better be there when he get there, because we're going right back out and we want to start building somebody's deck somewhere, right? Saturday mornings, we would wake up at like 6 a.m. and be out there, man, sun up to sundown, building shit. And at the time, as a teenager, I didn't like it. It wasn't a joy for me to do. But as an adult, I am so appreciative of that time, man. It taught me so much. For one, about work ethic. I'm not afraid of hard work because I grew up doing it. It came natural to me. But also, there are skills that I learned building those decks with my father that I apply directly to my job today. And it's just things where I didn't have to learn. I don't have to figure it out. I already know how to do it. And so it's allowed me to apply myself and to be able to excel in situations that people without that experience just won't be able to excel in. And I'm so thankful for that, man. It's just one of those things that, like, when you're going through it as a kid, you don't know how this is helping you. But as an adult, you're so thankful for the experience. So to my pops, can't thank you enough, but I just want to formally say thank you. I really appreciate it. There's no way I could ever pay you back properly for what you've done. But I appreciate you doing it, man. And that's going to do it. But before we go, I cannot end a Father's Day episode without dropping a dad joke off on you. So, what do you call two monkeys with an Amazon Prime account? Primates. Get it? Primates. No? Okay. Well, all right. So if you can't figure it out, you want to look up primates and then come back, get back to me. I understand. It may have flown over your head. I get it. Just let me know in the next episode. Drop it in the comments, when you figure it out. So this has been the inaugural episode of the Channel 914 podcast. I thank you for watching. I hope you continue to rock with me. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more content coming your way. Gonna have interviews. I'm not just gonna talk about fatherhood. Got a myriad of interests, man. So we're gonna cover a myriad of things. So I just hope you continue to rock with me, and I'll see y'all next episode. Peace.